I think that's also one of the big reasons I have a very big issue with bullying. It's just I know what it's like to, and I think it's very interesting. I don't ever use. Funnily enough, there's actually one specific kid, or one specific person I went to school with that I think I was 20 when we met up. Like we met up. I don't really hang out with too many kids from my school. And funnily enough, the friends that I do hang out with, I have 3 or 4 of them I'm very close friends with. They always say the best stock you could have ever bought back in 2016 was being nice to Iman.
Because you meditated in the washroom.
In the school bathrooms.
Yeah.
I was alone at lunch. My friends were, I had entrepreneurial ventures. I had this Instagram account where I used to basically, it was an anonymous account until people found out from my school, where I would
Fuck the norm.
Yeah, there you go. And it used to be like my sort of journal. It was very cathartic. It used to be a place where I used to write down my thoughts. It was an anonymous account. People from my school found out. And that was actually how, back in 2014, I got into the world of flipping Instagram accounts. So then when kids found out my school, I mean, they basically just flamed me for, the longest amount. It didn't matter that I was making, $500, $1,000 a month from the side hustle, because then that got me into the world of Telegram groups. And basically buying, selling promotions, buying, selling accounts. That didn't matter. They flamed me. So
yeah. So on that point, I started to blog when I was 13 years old, and I was writing, and this woman on the internet says, she's probably like a 30, 40-year-old woman. She's like, there's no way this kid is 13. His parents are writing for him. This is disgusting. And because of that bullying online, I got so upset and I stopped blogging for 2 years. So what do you say to that 13-year-old kid, or that 15, whatever, how old you were when you had Fuck the Norm, of getting bullied for doing something that's interesting or calling to you, and then they want to continue or they don't? But what would you say to that kid who's listening right now?
I don't know. Look, it's tough, because the thing is, me at 15, when everyone was saying this, of course it hurt, it stung. Is that I had that friend back in 2020 who came back and was like, dude, actually, honestly, I'm so sorry we used to bully you like that.
Wow.
And I had a lot of respect for him, because I don't think anyone else was willing to say that. And I never use the word bullying, because I think bullying is someone who, I think it's a very...
Makes you a victim.
It's a victim mentality. Because the thing is, it would happen to me, and I'm like, I understand this is not a reflection on me. I am merely a reflection of your insecurities. Yeah. But the thing is, I don't know if... I had such a difficult upbringing, so I don't know if every 15-year-old or 13-year-old can have that wisdom. So I didn't take it too personally. I was like, I get it. I am kind of weird for doing this, right? But also, I guess the other thing is, in 2015 or 2013 or whenever, that wasn't as normal. Whereas now I feel as though in school, if you're a 15, 14-year-old, who has a drop shipping store or who has a YouTube, everyone's like, that's sick. Like, you're like a entrepreneur. Like, I don't know. I just feel as though maybe it's a little cooler these days, or it's a little bit more accepted. Like, even having a YouTube in 2015, at least, when I was going to school, like, that was lame. Like, people thought that was, would once again flame me for it. They thought it was like the most like whack thing ever. Yeah. Whereas I don't know these days, if you're 15 years old, I don't know if it's, if it's considered cooler. But I guess the main thing that I would say is just remember, most of the time it's the people who are cool in high school that by the time they get to 26, 28, most of these people are bums. I'm just being honest, right? Whereas, and whether that's your school optimizes for academics and grades, because there's some schools where it's like, if you're the most academic smart, you're the cool person, right? And there's some schools where it's like, if you're the most athletic, you're the cool person, or you're the most social. And just, I've found that any one of those skews, they usually don't carry that on, right? Because also there's no need or desire, because here's the thing, when you're 16, 17, 18, the thing is, I don't know if I was like the cool kid at 16, and if I had all that validation from my peers. I mean, there's a lot of my friends that thought I was super cool and thought what I was doing was great. And, as I said, these are the people that, now all have $30,000 watches on their wrists and come with me when I come to $100,000 trips. And I said, like, like those friends who were, that friend who says, the best investment you could have made back in 2016 was being nice and polite to Iman. So except for them, everyone else thought what I was doing was whack. So, I just don't know if at 16, if I had that same validation. I don't know if at 16, everyone thought what I was doing was cool. I don't know if I would have had that same fire and that same drive to then go and win the way that I did. Mm-hmm. A lot of building whether that be building a business or starting a YouTube channel or like whatever people set out to do, of course, is 50% they love it. The other 50% is they want to be recognized for something. And the thing is, if you are recognized for something at the age of 16 or 18, I don't know if you then have the intrinsic motivation to then go and carry that through in your 20s. And I think that's why a lot of people peak in high school.